Welcome to the main victim of my procrastination. I'm Naanless, and I'll be stalking the party high up from the heavens. But before we get into it, a quick recap. Baganga got enslaved, then deslaved. Within a day's time, Woljif confronted his weird, creepy grandfather and strengthened his bond with the party. And finally, Lon figured out that his entire race is owned by Demon Daddy Salvamelik. Alright. Recap over. Let's get into it. Last time, the party sort of lost the plot. But now that Baganga is no longer enslaved and the companions have quested, they can finally get back on track. Just as a quick reminder, the party got permanently locked into the abyss so that they could find out more about the Nahindran crystals and disrupt their supply chain. So far, they know that Hebzamira is strengthening her mining operations using slaves, and that Lady Nocticula is a neutral party. If the gang could up their clout and secure an audience, they could spill some hot goss. Baganga also has the side objective of finding the other half of the Lexicon of Paradox for the Council, which also happens to be located within Lady Nocticula's palace. In the spirit of cloud chasing, the party head to the Palace of Ardent Dreams, hoping to speak to its highly influential manager. Once inside, they find Shamira. She immediately begins publicly humiliating the party for being cringe Galarian mortals. But while someone's kink is being played out, she sends a telepathic message to Baganga, saying that she's willing to help for the measly cost of one job. Turns out both Baganga and Shamira share similar goals. She's pissed that Hebzamira's military strength has increased due to the use of Nahindran crystals, so she wants the party to find out what they actually are. Only high-ranking generals in Hebzamira's army know this information. Luckily, Shamira knows of a disgraced general who now lives as a beggar in the lower ring by the name of Zephyrian. Like rabid animals, the party heads straight to the lower ring. Their target proves to be elusive. But after twisting a couple poor people's arms, they find Zephyrian. He's a horrifically disfigured and mangled individual. Apparently, due to a certain Demon Lord trickster, he was convinced to stage a coup against Hebzamira, only to be ratted out by Shamira. And, well, you can imagine what happens to traitors in a demon army. With a little bit of hatred left in his heart, he proves surprisingly helpful. He says that back when he was in power, he once found a Nahindran crystal on a random island. Not knowing what it was, he didn't really pay much attention to it. So naturally, it got taken by Nocticula's pet mage. Said mage had a tower in the upper ring, and Zephyrian just so happens to have a key. He just gives it to the party for free, like without profit incentive. Ugh. Before the party can head to the tower, I gotta do a quick lore dump. Remember this guy? Well, he used to be a really powerful mage who once witnessed a terrible calamity and was powerless against it. So he spent his days trying to gain power so that he never has to go through that again. His search for power led him to work for Lady Nocticula as her pet mage. At some point, he lost his memories and is now a fragmented, powerful old man. In short, the mage who lived in the tower was the Storyteller. Alright, lore dump over. The party head to the big magical cylinder.
Never a dull moment.
After getting assaulted by an ungodly amount of traps, they come across a bell. Upon ringing it, a portal to a Galarian tavern opens up, and out comes the Storyteller. He says that he remembers owning the tower, but not much else. Mayhaps if he puts his hands on a Nahindran crystal, his memories might come flooding back. So he hands the party a compass that can sense nearby Nahindran crystal vibes and sends them on their way. Luckily, Nexus HQ is right on top of a Nahindran crystal mine, so they pop in, grab what they need, and head back to the tower. Upon touching the stone, both Baganga and the Storyteller see a vision. They're witnessing a Dragon Ball-esque fight from the POV of a stranger. Upon asking the stranger's soul some questions, they find out that she is Demon Lord Alenia of Harpies, and that they're currently witnessing her duel with Lady Nocticula. She sadly describes her defeat and how her corpse limply fell into the waters of Ishiar. Now normally when a demon lord dies, their soul returns to their realm, and after a certain amount of time they respawn. But Lady Nocticula made sure that didn't happen. Instead, she solidified Alenithia's blood, creating the very island that Alushinra is built upon. The Nahindrian crystals are solidified morsels of demon lord souls, left within their corpse island. So when a random demon surgically implants one of these bad boys into them, they not only gain a portion of a demon lord's power, but also a part of their hatred and malice. Well, the party got what they came for, so they dap up the Storyteller and head back to the Palace of Ardent Dreams. Shamir demands the information that the party has gathered, but the Hand of the Inheritor reminds Baganga that morals are still a thing, and that felling a demon to help another is still a bad. Realizing his error, he strengthens his resolve, and denies Shamira her information. After all, he's a mortal of Galarian. No demon will ever control him. He is strong, powerful, and proud. Shamira immediately forces her way into Baganga's mind, takes the information, and kicks the party to the curb. Well, at least he didn't give the information willingly, so still a good deed in my book. As they sit sad and dejected, a voice booms into Baganga's mind.
You are most curious, mortal. They call me Nocticula, the Lady in Shadow. Your arrival in Alashanira was quite impressive. Rumors have reached me even here, behind my locked gates and my wall of valiant guards. Rumors of a remarkable Galarian taking my Alashanira by storm. You have my permission to enter the palace. You will be taken care of by one of my servants.
Finally, they've earned their audience. So, without wasting time, they head straight to Lady Nocticula's palace. Upon entering, they see a library, staffed primarily by succubus. Snooping around, they see a lot of weird notes and books about soul manipulation. Specifically notes on how to replicate a mortal soul who has ascended to godhood, and notes on how to bring back a soul who's already passed Pharasma's judgment. Following the knowledge trail, Baganga stumbles into Arilu Vorlesh's room. She's been working for Lady Nocticula, and just as Suckothpanath said, the second half of the Lexicon of Paradox is right there, just vibing. So he swipes it easy. As he takes it, Arilu walks in.
Greetings. It is time for answers. At least, some of them. Day 16, Aridus 4715. Experiment, transformation. Objective, to embed the essence of a Nahindrian crystal in the soul of the subject. Expected result. The essence will coalesce with the subject's soul, which will ready itself for total transformation, triggering the concomitant powers. You are my creation. Your power was my gift. Now you know. This is pure essence of Nahindrian crystal. Take it. Take it, and you will see that this is the very power that has lived in you since the Battle of Canobris.
This whole time, Baganga's power originated from a demon lord's soul that's been purified and cleansed, which is why it was able to be influenced by Baganga's trickster heart. Arilu has been watching her Nahindrian experiment from the shadows, only aiding when things seem dire. It was her who distracted Manago during the Wordstone kerfuffle. It was her who disguised herself as Yaniel and guided Baganga to the Sword of Valor. And it was her who left behind the Lexicon of Paradox as a gift. She only helps when absolutely necessary, because she wants her experiment to grow up nice and strong, in a natural environment. Honestly, Bagunga isn't too bothered by this. He gladly slurps up more of that sweet, sweet Nahindrian power.
Enough! Enough of this madness! I was blind. O Lady of Heaven, how blind I was. I saw holiness in the half-fiend's creation. Away! Away from this festering hole! I must bring this terrible truth to Queen Galfrey, and save those who can be saved from this darkness!
Arelu exclaims that he is a foolish dead man walking. He just blindly ran into the abyss, where the Echo of Discari is still hunting him.
I have had my eye on you for a very long time. You see, it was at my behest that Lady Vorlesh imbued you with such incredible powers. But I was curious to see your worth as an individual, not as Lady Vorlesh's creation. Thus, I decided to postpone our meeting and see how you'd fare in Alashanira, and whether or not you could win respect and power among those not so easily impressed by outstanding magical abilities.
As the party sadly mourns the likely death of the Hand of the Inheritor, Ember tugs at Bagunga's sleeve, asking to speak with Lady Nocticula. Remembering his promise, he gives her the go-ahead.
Ember? So that's her then? I have heard you bleating your pathetic prayers at me. You have some nerve addressing me with such nonsense. Did you think I would simply repent? Renounce my status as a demon lord? Do you have any idea what I had to do to acquire it? Wait, what is this? I can't stand these noises. Do you think you're the first to try to move me with a display of tears? If you wish to speak, then wipe your nose and speak clearly.
I know what you had to do to others and to yourself. I'm so sorry. If only I could ease your pain somehow. Calm your sorrows.
My pain? My sorrows? What nonsense are you talking? Don't tell me you pity me.
I'm so sorry. You're the most miserable soul I've ever seen. Everyone in this city is suffering. Everywhere, all the time, every minute. All who live here are hurting and scared. If these are its citizens, how miserable must its ruler feel?
So, what do you suggest I do, preacher? Beg the good gods' forgiveness? Devote myself to serving a sword-swinging upstart, perchance? Or that old crone, the moon?
You're almost a goddess yourself. You know better than anyone that no one can save you. No one except you.
Save me? From what exactly?
Listen! You are a queen, but you're the queen of pain and filth. Your realm is a realm of your own suffering. You're almost a goddess. You can do anything you want. So why won't you make yourself happy? You could become the Redeemer Queen.
The Redeemer Queen! That's new. Never in all my years have I heard anything like that. Well, child, enough joking. Get out of my sight.
Do you think she took my words to heart? That would be great.
I told you to get out! I don't want to hear your squeaky voice again!
After this godlike entity is done being verbally abused by this small child, she brings the conversation back on track. She wants Bagunga's help in closing the world wound. While it's helped her create new diplomatic relations, it's more trouble than it's worth. She is constantly under threat of other demon lords seeking her islands because, well, they're the only source of Nahindrian crystals. To close the world wound, Bagunga will have to claim a stronghold at its precipice, and do some sort of ritual at the exact same spot that Erilu cast the spell that initially created it. Bagunga doesn't give a definitive yes to this plan, but a nice solid maybe, because there seems to be a lot of hints that this plan requires his death. And as we all know, dying ain't really poggers. But there is one thing they can both agree on. Hebzimira must be stopped. Her mining operations are devastating Lady Nocticula's islands, and her military strength is becoming a lethal threat to Galarian. Using the party as assassins is the perfect plan, because it shifts the blame from Lady Nocticula and avoids any potential demon political backlash. Lady Nocticula reveals that Hebzimira is vibing on a nearby island called Caulifere. She offers the party a fully staffed ship with provisions for the trip. But in exchange, she wants the full lexicon of paradox. That's not happening. So Bagunga makes up some excuse and slowly backs out the front door. Once out of the palace, he sprints to the rooftop closet. Inside, the entire council is praising him for his incredible feat of acquiring the entire lexicon. Once again, frantically passing it around the table, they discern that to create new paths into the world wound, a mortal soul must interact with it, whilst infused with a powerful soul from whatever realm you're trying to connect to. So, for example, Bagunga with his demon lord soul could open a path to the abyss. But if you wanted a path to heaven, you would need a mortal infused with the soul of an imperial lord. So, an idea begins forming in the council's collective mind. Wouldn't it be just fun and quirky to just swing the door open to all realms? Wouldn't that be just a blast? Bagunga already has a soul infused into him. It wouldn't be that hard to fuse more essences from different planes into him, and turn him into a master key to all realms. While the council salivates at the thought, Cobblehoof will make all the necessary preparations to make this funny little plan happen. But for now, meeting adjourned. Oh, only thing left to do is stop Hebzimira. But the party don't want to accept help from Lady Nocticula, because it more than likely has some heavy strings attached. So they find the ship captain vibing in a tavern on the lower ring. She is willing to offer her services for the low price of 150,000 gold coins. Luckily, whatever freak controls the party is a kleptomaniac, and is rich beyond human belief. So the party walk up on the deck of her ship, ready to face their hardest fight yet. But, believe it or not, the ship refuses to leave until I edit and script the next video. In other words, that's all I got. If you happen to have extra time on your hands, consider checking out my friends, the Discord channel, and the Naanless Shorts channel. All links in the description. And as always, please like, sub, and realize that the cinematography fandom has peaked with this outro.